The Constitution of India. Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Happy morning, students. So I hope you all are enjoying your classes now, right? Busy with all your works. So whatever is being taught in the class, try to take it effectively, because you know how important it is now for us to learn as much as we can, right? So use the time wisely. All these time, once it's gone, it's not going to come back again. So I want all of you to do productive work. Keep yourself active, engaged in any activity that is possible for you. Clear? So last class I was dealing with enthalpy of that is vaporization, fusion, you remember children, sublimation, all those phase transformation. So today we are going to learn about standard enthalpy of formation. That is standard enthalpy change for a formation of 1 mole of a compound. We are going to discuss about only 1 mole of a compound which is 1 mole, right? That is a standard enthalpy change of formation. From where this compound is formed? From its own constituent elements, from its own source elements, this 1 mole of compound will be formed. Example, like at 25 degrees 1 bar may be the standard temperature and pressure conditions. Like let's assume carbon combines with hydrogen to form methane. So the enthalpy of formation is minus 74.81, which is an exothermic reaction, because that much amount of heat energy is being evolved out. So this we call it as standard enthalpy of formation. Now if you see the next reaction, calcium oxide combines with carbon dioxide to form calcium carbonate. Now I cannot say this minus 178.3 will be enthalpy of formation of calcium carbonate. Can you guess what could be the reason? Because this calcium carbonate is not formed from its constituent elements, but it is formed from different compounds. So this is called as enthalpy of a reaction and not enthalpy of formation. And this is also an exothermic reaction with a negative value of minus 178.3. Now let's take one more example with 1 mole of hydrogen combines with 1 mole of bromine to form 2 moles of hydrogen bromide. If you see in this reaction, children, instead of 1 mole of product, 2 moles of the product are formed. That is H2 plus Br2 gives 2 HBr. Instead of 1 mole of HBr, we are getting 2 moles of HBr. So what is happening? Enthalpy of a reaction can be defined as twice the formation of enthalpy. That is twice the enthalpy of formation. And we use this standard symbol. Okay. Now we know calcium oxide combines with carbon dioxide to form calcium carbonate. What if the reaction is going to be reversed? That is, let me consider the decomposition of calcium carbonate. So calcium carbonate is going to decompose to form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Now how can I find out the enthalpy of the reaction? So enthalpy of the reaction will be enthalpy formation of product minus enthalpy formation of reactant. So what will be there? So when I substitute the values, you will be given this data in your question. So when I substitute the value, I get 178.3, here also 178.3. It is an exothermic reaction, but the reverse of this reaction is endothermic. So you know, if the formation of calcium carbonate right? If it is going to be an exothermic reaction, the decomposition should be an endothermic reaction, giving a positive value of the enthalpy. So such reactions are called as enthalpy of formation. Now let us get into thermochemical equations. Now we are going to learn about a new topic, which is thermochemical equations. Thermochemical. Thermal is nothing but something related with heat. So chemical equations which involve maybe the absorption or the evolution of heat, we call it as thermochemical equations. A balanced chemical equations together with the value of the enthalpy of a reaction, we call it as thermochemical equation. We normally write a chemical equation, but if we are going to mention the enthalpy change that is involved in the reaction, we call it as thermochemical. Involving heat, the chemical equation is being written or explained. Now let us take an example where ethanol is undergoing oxidation, that is combustion. It gives carbon dioxide and water. Now within brackets I am mentioning the state at which that particular compound is present. Ethanol is in its liquid state, oxygen is in gaseous form, carbon dioxide also in gaseous form, and water in its liquid form. Now the enthalpy of this reaction is minus 1367 kilojoule per mole, which is a purely exothermic reaction. Combustion of ethanol gives a large amount of heat. So this is an exothermic reaction. Now what are the things we should consider when we are writing a thermochemical equation? Now the coefficients which we write, these are the stoichiometric coefficient number 3, 2, 3. These are the coefficient which represents the number of moles of reactants and products and not the number of molecules. Please understand, these are the number of moles of reactant, number of moles, not the molecules. Now the standard enthalpy change is given in the units of kilojoule per mole. So whatever we are calculating, we will do it in kilojoule per mole. Now if you consider this equation where Fe2O3 reacts with hydrogen to form Fe plus 3H2O. In this, enthalpy of formation of water in its liquid state is minus 285.3. Enthalpy of formation of iron oxide in the solid form is minus 824.2 kilojoule per mole, and as per convention the solid state of iron and the gaseous state of hydrogen is 0. We do not have any value for it. Now how I can calculate the enthalpy of the reaction, that is the formation? You can calculate by enthalpy of formation of product minus enthalpy of formation of reactants. So how do we do it? We know iron solid is 0, so you do not consider that. So it is 3 is for water, 3 moles of water. So 3 into minus 285.83 minus, this is my product, minus, here for hydrogen it is not there. So only for iron oxide I am going to include it, minus 1 into minus 824.2 kilojoule per mole. So what do we get? 3 into minus 285 is nothing but minus 857.5. Minus into minus will become plus. So plus 824.2, you get an answer minus 33.3 kilojoule per mole, which is an exothermic reaction. So this is how we calculate. So whatever reaction we get, we are going to do with, if it is enthalpy of a reaction or formation, we do product minus reactant. Is that clear, children? So this is what is thermochemical equation. One more example is given to you. Please look at the example in your textbook so that the same explanation is given to that in a different way. Okay, children. This law of constant heat summation. We know summation is nothing but sum of all the values which are included in a particular reaction. So Hess's law states that if a reaction occurs in several steps, its standard reaction enthalpy will be the sum of the standard enthalpies of all the intermediate steps, which will be giving us the overall reaction. That is, if a particular reaction takes place in 3-4 steps, I am going to add all the steps which will be giving the overall reaction enthalpy of a particular reaction. Now to understand this, let us take an example. Carbon plus half oxygen gives carbon monoxide. Now it is very difficult to calculate the reaction enthalpy of the formation of carbon monoxide because it does not happen directly. The formation of carbon monoxide actually happens in two steps. That is, carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide, which is an intermediate step, and here carbon monoxide plus half oxygen gives carbon dioxide, but unfortunately we need the formation of carbon monoxide. So what can we do? We can reverse the second reaction. When I am going to reverse it, my reactant will become the product and product will become the reactant. So once I reverse the equation, I get carbon dioxide gives carbon plus half oxygen. Now what I should do? I should take this reaction and I will take this reaction and I am going to add it. So if I am going to add, what happens? Carbon dioxide get cancelled. Half oxygen, oxygen becomes half oxygen. That is 1 minus half becomes half and carbon stays as such. So carbon plus half oxygen gives carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, which is my first initial step which we saw. So what I am going to do, when I add this 1 and 3, I get a new reaction and these values 393.5 and this value 283 is also being added, where I get minus 110.5, that is, which is the formation of carbon monoxide, enthalpy of a reaction, which is an exothermic reaction. So for a reaction which involves several steps included, the reaction enthalpy will be sum of all the intermediate steps which give the overall reaction of this, overall enthalpy of the reaction. That is what is Hess's law states. Next one is standard enthalpy of combustion. We know what is combustion. Combustion is a burning of a substance with the support of oxygen. So enthalpy change per mole of a substance, that is 1 mole of a substance, when it undergoes combustion, that is when all the reactants or products are in their standard states. In such a situation, we call that enthalpy as enthalpy of combustion. Now we know the LPG gas which we use is butane. So butane, when it undergoes combustion, that is with oxygen, it gives 4 moles of carbon dioxide and 5 moles of water. Now what is the enthalpy of combustion? It is around minus 2658.0 kilojoule per mole. So this negative sign indicates that when butane undergoes combustion, it is an exothermic reaction giving a large amount of heat. So what we should understand, enthalpy of combustion is nothing but any 1 mole of a substance when it is burned in the oxygen. Now combustion of glucose, again glucose also undergoes combustion where you get an exothermic reaction. The energy that we get from our food, the food that we eat, it breaks down inside. Combustion actually takes place inside our body, releasing a large amount of energy. Now next one is enthalpy of atomization. Atomization involves the breaking of bonds. A molecule is going to break to give atoms. Here hydrogen is nothing but H2 molecule is made up of 2 hydrogen atom, a single bond. So here this bond breaks and it becomes 2 hydrogen atom, and such that all the atoms are in the gaseous phase. Here enthalpy of atomization is 435.0 kilojoule per mole. But this both are in the gaseous form. Now there are situations where sodium in the solid can give sodium in the gaseous form. So this we call it as enthalpy of sublimation. Again there is a breakage, but it calls enthalpy of sublimation where there is a phase transformation again. So in the textbook, children, if you see very carefully, they have given enthalpy of atomization step by step with different examples. Definitely the problems we will be doing in the class, so you don't have to worry. All the problems together we will do, which are all in exam point of view. Bond enthalpy. Bond enthalpy is nothing but the energy which is associated with a bond. So when I say a bond, it involves the breaking of the bond and the making of the bond. So whenever there is a breaking of the bond involved, energy is required to break the bond, to split the bond, and whenever there is a making of the bond, energy is being released. Now here we are going to learn 2 new terms. One is bond dissociation enthalpy. When I say dissociation, again it is a breakup, it is a split up. And when I say mean bond enthalpy, that is a new term which we will be learning in polyatomic molecules. So now let us consider a diatomic molecule. Any diatomic molecule, when it is going to split, it gives like hydrogen splitting into 2 hydrogen atoms. A molecule, when I say diatomic, 2 atoms makes a molecule that is going to split into 2 hydrogen atoms with this much amount of energy being absorbed. So this is also called as enthalpy of atomization, because enthalpy of atomization is nothing but a molecule splitting into its atoms. But when we consider polyatomic molecule, though it is a single step reaction, CH4 giving carbon and 4 hydrogen with 1665 kilojoule per moles of energy being absorbed, it does not take place in a single step. It involves several steps because all the CH bond may be having the same length, but the energy required to remove or to break each CH bond is different. So first step, methane gives CH3 and hydrogen with this much amount of energy. Second step, CH3 giving CH2 plus hydrogen plus this much amount of energy. Third step, CH2 giving CH and hydrogen with this much amount of energy. And the last step, CH splitting into carbon and hydrogen with 347 kilojoule per mole. So now, since there are 4 steps involved in the splitting of methane into carbon and hydrogen, we are going to consider the mean bond enthalpy, like how you used to calculate the average of the subjects, the percentage of your subjects. Here, the CH bond, the energy required will be 1665, the total energy divided by the number of steps involved. So divided by 4, you get 416 kilojoule per mole. Now in general, to consider enthalpy of a reaction, we can take summation of sum of bond enthalpy of reactants minus sum of bond enthalpy of the products. So that is how we have learned bond enthalpy. Now we will get into lattice enthalpy. Okay, now we are going to see lattice enthalpy. That is, we know what is a lattice, which is made up of the constituents, cations and anions of a solution. So lattice enthalpy means the energy required for 1 mole of a molecule to split into its individual constituents. That is, it can be a cation or an anion. So we know sodium chloride, that is Na plus Cl minus, is going to split as Na plus at its gaseous state and Cl minus also in its gaseous state. Now here sodium solid will be giving sodium gas, which is enthalpy of sublimation, solid getting directly converted to gaseous form, where the next step, sodium gas on ionization, that is 1 electron is being lost, it becomes Na plus. Then the next one, half chlorine atom dissociates into individual chlorine atoms, and next step, chlorine gains an electron to become Cl minus. So this whole cycle we call it as a Born-Haber cycle, where the original split takes place or the formation of Na plus into Cl minus to NaCl. It involves 3-4 steps, which is giving each amount of enthalpy. It can be positive or it can be negative. So on overall, sum of all the enthalpies becomes 788. So what is lattice enthalpy? The breaking of a compound into its individual ions, thereby there is a several steps involved in the cycle of the formation of its ions. The next one is enthalpy of solution, which is more important because when 1 mole of any solute dissolves in a solvent, it gives a solution. So here you can give AB splitting into A plus and B minus in aqueous state. Same AB gives A plus and B minus in the gaseous form, which is lattice enthalpy. This becomes enthalpy of solution, and the other one becomes enthalpy of hydration, where A plus and B minus in its gaseous form, when water is being added as a solvent, it becomes in its aqueous form. Enthalpy of dilution, somewhat similar to solution, where a component is added at a particular temperature that the solution becomes diluted. Here the temperature being constant, the solution becomes diluted where the concentration is being decreased. Such enthalpy we call it as enthalpy of dilution, and most of the ionic compounds the enthalpy becomes positive, that is it is an endothermic reaction. The next we have something called as spontaneity. We know what is spontaneity, something that is occurring on its own. We say spontaneously, she speaks spontaneously. So spontaneous means does happen on its own without any external support. But those reactions, like when a paper burns in the presence of fire, oxygen, combustion takes place. So all these are spontaneous reaction, but there are some reactions like hydrogen and oxygen gas, when they are kept in a room, maybe the reaction takes place very slowly, but definitely it is a spontaneous reaction. But many spontaneous reaction, of all we can say they are irreversible. So the definition for spontaneous reactions are any irreversible reaction which occurs on its own without an external support, and they can be made reversible only with a external support. Some subfactors which we can include in it. So spontaneity of reactions are those which occur on its own. Now when we say decrease in enthalpy is a criteria for spontaneity, you can see in page number 181 it is being discussed, children. Chemical reaction is spontaneous because decrease in energy takes place. We know the reaction when you decrease the temperature, what happens when the temperature is being reduced, the reaction tend to occur slowly, but not that much with speed, but it tends to occur in its own way, right? So the net change, for example, if I am going to throw a ball, or when the water is flowing from the top, actually the potential energy decreases, only the kinetic energy becomes more. So such net decrease in the enthalpy or energy may cause a spontaneous reaction. Now the another topic which comes in together, which I will be sending the notes for each and every topic, entropy. See, when I have molecules present in two boxes, that is a big box where there is a partition, right? Say assume that I have a box like this. Now I have a partition, here I keep red balls and here there are blue balls. Now if I opening on the left, I will be getting only red balls. When I open on the right, I get only blue balls. But when I remove the partition, the red balls and the blue balls actually they interchange with each other. That is, the moment the wall gets separated, they move randomly. That is, their orderness get disturbed. They don't behave in a proper way. They tend to be disorganized. That is, randomness in the movement of the molecules occur, which is called as entropy. So what is entropy? The degree of randomness in a system which will tend to increase the spontaneity of a reaction. Since the randomness becomes more, we know the reaction becomes spontaneous. So children, I hope you understood today's topic. So what we'll be doing is the rest of the things we'll be discussing directly, so that you understand the formula and the derivation. And definitely the revision will be given for the same as well. So if you have any doubts, please ask me. Thank you, children.